Hello and welcome to The Hop, a marketing podcast. I'm your host, Matt Taylor-Farrington, and the owner of Purple Bunny Marketing. And today I'm joined by Loz, who needs no explanation, no introduction. She's as quirky as she always is. But today we're going to talk about your book. And congratulations on the launch of your book.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So do you want to tell everyone what it's called? And again, I'm just going to warn everyone. It will be censored because, it's got an interesting title.
So you're going to censor the shit out of it, right?
Correct. Yes. Yes,
so the book, it's called The Uncensored Version. Get the Unstuck. But if we are playing for children at home, it is Get the F Unstuck. F stands for anything else other than the word that it stands for.
Fire truck.
Yeah.
Fire truck. So congratulations. And I see Amazon's bestseller, is that right? Did I get that right?
Sure is. Oh, yes. Thanks for the plug.
You're welcome, anytime. And I guess the reason why we got you onto the podcast is because our audience is predominantly business owners or people who are in that sphere, that are go, go, go. And I guess we all get on that hamster wheel where we get stuck in that process. And I think there was some great synergy with our audience to talk to you today.
100%. Perfect.
There you go. She's been listening to the podcast because that's my little catch cry. And apparently we're going to change the hop to the 100%. So I guess starting off, why is your book perfect for business owners? Why would you say a business owner should read your book?
Well, the first part of that conversation is that I am a business owner and having been in business, in real adult business for 18 years now, just exiting a business actually for the first time in my life, but starting a business when I was 15 years old. The reality is that you will always prioritize income generating activities over your self-care. And the glass ceiling of the potential of not only you as a business owner, but your team will sit over your head if you don't start looking after yourself. If you are running on inadequate eating, if you're not thinking about what you're putting in your mouth, if your breathing is terrible, if your sleep is up the wazoo, if you're not getting enough exercise in, and you're not drinking enough water and maybe too much caffeine, other forms of stimulants, right?
Yes.
Or things like alcohol, the chances are that you are only performing suboptimally. And when we can release the handbrakes on our potential, we can increase our focus, increase our productivity, and really serve the people that we want to serve more effectively.
Yes. Yeah, perfect. And I guess you kind of leaned into that a little bit, but in the book, you actually refer to, don't feel guilty about investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And, as a business owner myself, we kind of know that we really don't prioritise ourselves when we have a business or, in our instance too, we're really focused on driving that. I mean, I know for the last couple of nights, I've been up very late to meet deadlines, to do things, and I haven't been able to prioritise my normal self-care of getting to the gym and doing all those things. So how do we get better at doing that, and why should we focus on ourselves? Why is that important?
What a great question. So the thing is, it's never going to be perfect. Life is full of situations, right? That's a word that I made up. It's in the book. There's a whole library of laws at the end of the book, actually. The reality is that situations will ensue in your life whether you like it or not. When we turn up to a situation having not slept properly the night before, it's actually quite challenging to go into battle when you are not looking after yourself. So finding ways to just make things a little bit better will improve the outcomes for your business so it can become more successful. And just understand though, you're never going to get it 100% right. I was up late last night too because I had a whole heap of business documentation to go through for the sale of my business, the other business that I have.
Yes.
And so, the piper has to get paid at some point, understanding that you have to find opportunities to really fall back into those self-care habits. My thought pattern is for a lot of people is that you want to make them non-negotiable. So over the course of a week, you may not get it 100% right all the time, but if you can get it 85% right 100% of the time, I think that's a pretty damn good statistic.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, I know I put my hand up, I got stuck in a rut there for a while. Business was busy and we were just churning, getting in that process. But since I've actually prioritised my health and getting back to the gym and what I eat and all those things, I'm noticing a change in my mood, my demeanour, the way I approach things, all sorts of things. So,
and you're nicer to hang around. You're not being an asshole all day, right?
Correct.
And that's a reality. And the most important part of your business is actually you. Because, even if you are scaling a business, I mean, most of the business owners that I talk to aren't running, Fortune 500 companies. They're running some sort of micro business. They might be a solopreneur. They could have a small team of onshore or offshore staff. But the reality is they are an integral part of their business, whether they're on the tools or they're the thought leader. And you are really capping your potential when you aren't thinking about those things. And I know this, I've been burnt out 3 times in my career. 2 of those times I've been hospitalised. It is not ideal. I do not advise it. And that's why I went and did a whole bunch of research and studied a whole heap of things to become an interdisciplinary coach, because for me it was a lot of me search to work out, well, what would be the better way of me learning to navigate those challenges in the future, using failure as feedback and then using that feedback as a failure forwards to learn and grow so that I can actually face those challenges, which will happen again, with a lot more ease. And by using that handbrake habit concept, which I talk about in the book, then it allows me to go, okay, well, of eating, breathing, sleep, movement, and hydration, the 5 handbrake habits that I propose, how can I ensure that every day I at least meet minimum viable product of those things? So we're talking about MVPs and things like that. So, making sure that my eating is mainly good, that I'm prioritizing protein. My sleep is mainly good, that I'm at least catching up if I have a sleep debt. That my breathing is okay because I'm focused on my posture and I'm taking time out in my day to think about like what it is that I want to do to relax, to recharge, and that I'm drinking enough water. I'm not over drinking the alcohol or buffering myself out with caffeinated beverages, and that I'm moving enough, because you feel better when you move and you do all of those things, right? And why wouldn't you want to feel better?
Yes. Ask my business partner. She hates it when I've been to the gym afterwards, because all the endorphins have kicked in, and she's like, "You've had pre-workout and been to the gym, haven't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
And then start sweating and hugging everybody.
Yes, but it does. And even at night, like I have to be careful. For me, I've worked out. For me, if I go at nighttime to the gym, I'm like buzzing.
Pinging.
Yeah. So it's kind of like releases endorphins for me that makes me very active. So that's why I prioritize it, going in the morning, getting it done and working that. So, all right. So moving along, as a business owner, I guess we tend to have a lot of stress and pressures to perform, not only to make sure the bank account gets filled, but there's all sorts of things that we have to hit. We might have certain contracts and other commitments to other people. I guess how can we cope with them, or is there any things that we can do, that we can implement in our day to help kind of relieve some of that stress and that pressure?
Yeah, I think that in modern day, we have conditioned ourselves to be busy, and a lot of people wear busy as a badge of honour. And I don't know about you, but when I go to Woolworths or Colesworth, let's just call it that, people go, "How you going? You've been busy?" I'm like, no, I've been productive. I've been purposeful. I'm feeling empowered to make decisions that drive me towards a point. I don't ever say that because they'll be like, "Oh, you're a weirdo." But the reality is that when you are in alignment with the values that you have, you will start to find time to prioritize the things that matter and find balance. As I said, you can't get it right all of the time. Yeah. Right? But when you realise how good you feel, I always say nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. Kate Moss had a phrase, which is nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Well, that was 1992 probably. But nothing tastes as good as healthy feels, and nothing tastes as good as being purposeful and productive and feeling like you've made an impact. And so in a world that's full of distractions that are engineered to keep you stuck in a scroll hole for way more hours than you'd like to admit, it's very easy to be sidetracked. Yeah. Some of my best tips are using different methods to keep you focused. So whether you want to call it sprints and marathons. So there is like the Pomodoro method, where you go hard for a period of time, 50 minutes, and then at the top of the hour, for the 10 minutes, you have a break. But finding a strategy that works for you. I like time blocking. My calendar is full of like color-coded time blocks of work, and each color code represents something different. So one color block might represent something I'm doing to work on the business. Yes. One might be a color code to focus on stuff that is working in the business when I'm actually dealing with clients. One might be color-coded for my own self-care. And I like to see those blocks, kind of like Tetris, line up across my working week. And that for me really keeps me focused on the things that are important, because life's too short to not give a shit about yourself. Yes. End of story.
Agreed, 100%. And then something, I guess I, for a very long time, was so focused on be the best, do this, do that, and you're so committed to doing that you, I guess, lose sight of the fact that your health, it really does impact your day to day. And if your health is diminishing, I noticed as I put on more weight, as I got tireder, I started reaching for more of the sugary based products. I started reaching for those sorts of things. And now that I've changed those habits, things have changed back. And so, I think so. And I think the other thing, you're right, taking that break during the day, or taking breaks throughout the day is really good. I kind of do a similar thing where I work hard for about 40 minutes, stop for 5, walk away from my computer screen because I have a bad habit, and leave my phone. That's my biggest. Yeah. My biggest thing is this seems to follow me everywhere, and I'm really getting cautious of putting it down and engaging in actual conversation. I found my habit with my partner was terrible, where I would be having a conversation with him, but this was in front of us. Yeah. And it was bad. So,
and it's become a real game changer for people, and I've noticed like a lot of people are talking about like getting a diagnosis for ADHD now, like a lot of middle-aged women. So I'm the OG ADHD guy. So I was diagnosed in 1998, officially diagnosed as a young girl. Yep. Back then the only people that got diagnosed were the naughty boys up the back throwing spitballs at the teacher. Yes. And I did struggle with my attention, and I was medicated for quite some time, and I've been off medication since 2010 by choice. The reality is that it's really easy to be distracted when it comes to your health and wealth. Like health and wealth derive from the same Latin word, and your wealth is useless without health. And we do chase what I call the metric of success. So it's like the likes, the follows, the money in the bank, the tangibility of, the status symbol and this tokenized version of what it should look like when we've made it, right? Yes. But it's more about the journey. And I think I've learnt, my husband passed away very suddenly a few years ago, and it was a real wake-up call for me to be able to understand how short life was. And I have a TED talk that talks about how my husband's suicide was the best thing that ever happened, because it really taught me the essence at such a young age that it's the sweet stuff in the middle. It's not the cars and the bags and the shoes and the things. It's the journey of self-mastery that really is where the spice of your life is at. And you can achieve that through your business, right? Yes. That's the point of going into business, is to create impact and serve others and make a difference. But if we're so friggin' stuck on this thing, yes, we're only half-assing our way through our life. And guys, never half-ass anything. You have to always use your full ass, 100%. I've been holding on to that for a while. 10 minutes now.
Yes. All right. So, in a nutshell, if I am feeling stuck, I'm a business owner, and my life is feeling a bit like Groundhog Day. I feel like I'm stuck in that rut. What would be one thing that someone could do today to get unstuck?
I think there is a difference between every single person. And if we're talking about 5 handbrake habits, eating, breathing, sleep, movement, and hydration, you want to choose one of the 2 things to start getting you unstuck. Either the most low-hanging fruit. So of those 5 habits, what would be the lowest hanging fruit where you're like, you know what, my eating is really, really shithouse. I could easily do something about that. Or choose the one that's going to give you the biggest needle shift. Now, I guarantee you they won't be the same thing. The thing that gives you the biggest needle shift will probably be the one that you have the most resistance to. Correct. But pick one. Yes. Decide. It doesn't matter. The best diet in the world doesn't work if you don't do it. The best exercise routine and the best plan doesn't work if you don't actually implement it. So pick the thing that you are confident that you can actually start to make an adjustment on. The thing that you could totally do, and just do that one thing for a month. Yep. So 4 weeks, and then another 4 weeks, and another 4 weeks. And I guarantee you that if you just focus on one of those things to do with you, not your business will consequently improve. Yes. 100%. I guarantee if you just ate a little bit more protein in your day and you prioritize protein, because that was the lowest hanging fruit or the biggest needle shifter, you're going to get more energy. So by 3 o'clock, you're not fanging for a caffeine fix or a sugar thing. Yes. You are probably feeling better. Your sleep's going to improve as a consequence. Yep. Probably your hydration will improve. You'll have probably a bit more energy to exercise. And so the beauty of the 5 handbrake habit concept is that when you focus on one, and unlock one handbrake, the others accidentally unlock themselves like a domino effect. And that is my main piece of advice for everybody. Choose one, do it for 4 weeks, and it will have a major impact on your life, personally and professionally.
Awesome. I think that's achievable for anyone. And I guess for me, it was the same thing. I focused on my eating first. Was my biggest thing, because I knew that if I could tackle that, because it was my hardest one, but I knew that if I could tackle that, and now I'm back in the gym, I'm prioritizing all my other things, you know, I'm drinking so much more water, and I'm choosing it over soft drinks or, you know, sugary based things or energy drinks and stuff, and I'm only having that 1, maybe 2 coffees depending on the day.
Yeah, but you don't need it because you're running off your own momentum, and it, for me, simplify to amplify.
Yes.
And this is where most people stuff up, is we have these ideas that everything should be really hard, and in a crisis when some shit hits the fan, we've got to reach for these big silver bullet transformational things. We've got to go do the personal development course and download all the apps and buy the books and do the rah and, you know, just bloody focus on the things that you have control over, because you're already doing those things. Why make it more complicated than it needs to be?
100%.
Come on.
Had to get it in there. All right. Well, that's all that we were going to talk about today. And thank you for coming in, having a chat to us. I appreciate it. I know our audience will get some value out of that. But before you go, we do need to give the book a plug. Show people what it actually looks like. So we know you need to see the title. You need to see it there. Obviously, it's Get the Unstuck.
And it's ADHD friendly, so it's got a colour-coded spine. So you know where you're up to. There's even a quick guide at the front, so that if you don't like to read books from front to back, like a lot of people don't because they're distracted, you can just answer the questions and get put straight to the page that you need. But it is also available in audiobook.
Yes.
I am narrating it. You can get that anywhere where you download.
We wouldn't have expected anything less, Loz.
I know. People are like, did you get Morgan Freeman? I'm like, no, not me. And also anywhere where you buy your ebooks as well. So Kindle, Amazon, anywhere. So it's available everywhere.
Perfect. So make sure you grab yourself a copy. Again, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. We've had a blast. I think it was really important, I guess, for our audience to take a break from the day-to-day and talk about themselves for once, which is why we decided to do this podcast. So make sure you stay tuned to The Hop, and make sure you subscribe and follow.